Deep in the woods of a floodplain forest are the remnants of a once-traveled bridge. With nothing but the steel skeletal remains of the Bellamy Bridge lies the mystery of Elizabeth Bellamy. Does her ghost haunt these woods as she searches for her lost child? Nah, we didn't see any ghosts, but who knows, maybe you did. Leave a comment, let us know. But what is the story of Elizabeth Bellamy?
Now there's two stories. One is folklore, and one is allegedly the truth. So the truth is that she died of malaria, yellow fever, as well did her child, and years later Dr. Bellamy committed suicide. And she haunts the bridge in search of either her child or her husband, one of the two. Now the more interesting story is that on the night of their wedding, Miss Elizabeth Bellamy had gone upstairs to rest. The story is that either she went upstairs to rest or they were dancing. And anyways, her gown became inflamed by a candle or a fireplace. A few days later, she died of her burns, succumbed to them. And her husband, who couldn't take it, killed himself. And her ghost now haunts the bridge in search of her husband. So it's actually very interesting. I would advise you to look it up yourself. I didn't memorize it. I just found it to be kind of interesting. But anyways, we're on this half-mile hike, and we're heading over to the Bellamy Bridge. This is a historic bridge that the skeletal remains of it still stand. The trail is pretty well maintained. We weren't sure exactly what to expect. We had heard that when it rains, it can become quite muddy. But right now it seems pretty dry, and it's been pretty dry in Florida since we are in the winter season anyways. I can only imagine, like, when we are in the rainy season.
Yeah, so it's very flooded, and there's probably a lot of bugs.
The nice thing within the winter here, without the leaves being on the trees, we can actually see quite far into the woods. A lot of fallen trees and we've arrived at Bellamy Bridge.
The Bellamy Bridge is a steel frame bridge built in 1914 by the Converse Bridge Company, spanning the Chipola River north of Mariana. At about 119 feet long, it is one of the oldest surviving bridges of its type in Florida.
These cypress knees are so cool. In folklore, when you do a selfie next to a place that's haunted, a lot of times when you go to look at that picture at a later time, we're going to go down there a little bit more, I think. So Bellamy Bridge was only about 7 miles from Florida Caverns State Park, so it's really easy if you wanted to do both things in one day. In fact, you could do them both in the afternoon.
Whether you're here for the history or the mystery, Bellamy Bridge is worth the half-mile walk. Thanks for joining us on this new adventure. We'll see you in the next one.